Well, it's a new year, but it's still the same old Barcelona in La Liga because La Liga action resumed for us. The first La Liga game of 2025. We have just concluded our first league game of 2025 with the visit to Getafe, the Coliseum Alfonso Perez, and Barça has endured yet another frustrating night of La Liga action. We have been held to a 1-1 draw on a very frustrating evening for so many reasons. Earlier in the day, Atletico Madrid, who are the league leaders, they dropped points at Leganes following a 1-0 defeat. And of course, with the way we have started the new year, winning in the Copa del Rey and progressing into the quarterfinals, and also beating Real Madrid and Athletic Club in the Super Cup to bring home the first trophy of the Hansi Flick era, of course you would expect that we would rewrite our recent poor record in La Liga, because mind you, in the month of November and December 2024, Barça were very shambolic. This draw tonight makes it one win out of our last 8 games, guys. That is a terrible form. And at this point, even though I don't want to sound like I'm throwing in the towel just yet, I believe at this point, with the way we have been performing in La Liga, I don't know why it has been difficult for us to transfer our form from the other competitions. In the Champions League, the Super Cup, the Copa del Rey, it has been difficult to transfer that form into La Liga, and that bad run has continued tonight. Just one win in the last 8 games in La Liga, and we continue to slip away from that top spot. A victory tonight would have helped us to close the gap on Atletico de Madrid and also close the gap on Real Madrid ahead of their game tomorrow. But as it is now, we have failed to capitalize on the slip-up of our rivals. The league leaders have slipped up, and a team like Barça, who are aiming to capitalize on any slip-ups, we have failed the assignment. We have failed to take advantage of the slip-up of Atletico, and we have also failed to beat Getafe once again in La Liga away from home. Our recent record at the Coliseum Alfonso Perez has been way too poor. The last time Barca won at the Coliseum was in 2019 during the tenure of Ernesto Valverde. That is a long time ago. This is 5 consecutive years now. We have failed to take 3 points from the visit to Getafe. Now let me just run it up real quick here on my phone. Some of our recent results at the Coliseum. Just let's take a look at them. Okay, in recent seasons at Getafe, after that 2-0 win in 2019 during Ernesto Valverde's era, we have lost 1-0 in 2020. We have drawn 0-0 in 2022. We have drawn 0-0 yet again in 2023, and also in August 2023 we drew 0-0 again before tonight's 1-1 draw. So that makes it a total of 4 draws and 1 defeat in the space of 5 years. We have failed to take anything away from the Coliseum in that period, and that may be our biggest undoing this season in La Liga, guys. It seems like we have always brought our A game against the bigger sides both in Europe and the league, but when it comes to the smaller sides, I think that has been where our Achilles heels has been, because we have struggled against the supposedly smaller sides in La Liga. That has been where we have struggled to take all 3 points the most, and yet again the trend has continued. I wouldn't want to say the team had a bad game, but like I said in the previous videos, the reason why we dropped so many points between November and December was not the fact that we were very poor in those games, but simply because of the fact that we couldn't finish up most of the chances that we created in those games. Even though we're not at our brilliant, sparkling best, we did enough to win those games, and that is a hallmark of a championship winning side, because even when you are not playing at your best, you are expected to come away with the 3 points somehow. And sadly, this is something that Real Madrid has mastered the art of. We may be able to trash them here and there in El Clasico from time to time, but one thing I know that Real Madrid rarely does is giving away cheap points to the supposedly smaller sides, and I am expecting them to win yet again tomorrow. That would mean that they will be the only ones taking advantage of Atletico Madrid's slip up this weekend in La Liga, because we ourselves have slipped up. Well, for the starting lineup tonight, of course, we were not expecting too many surprises, because with the changes and the rotations we saw in midweek against Betis, we were expecting that most of the first teamers were going to return, and that was exactly the case, because Balde came back at left back for Gerard Martin, and in midfield Casado came back for Frankie de Jong, and also Lewandowski came back in place of Dani Olmo. Elsewhere, it was pretty much the same starting lineup. The only major question mark we had going into this game tonight was whether Inaki Peña was going to continue in goal, or if Szczesny was going to reclaim his place in goal. But it seems like Hansi Flick has stuck the faith in Peña, because he started Peña once again, and Peña had a very good game. Well, he wasn't threatened much by Getafe. A lot of questions were not asked of him, but the goal that he considered, I think he tried his best in that passage of play. He made a good stop from the Getafe player's shot, but unfortunately the rebound fell to Arrambari and he buried it for 1-1. But until that point, we were clearly the better side in the game. Of course, in games against Getafe, you would expect that Getafe are going to sit deep and soak up the pressure, and that was exactly how they started the game. Barça, we started on the front foot as always. We were pushing, and we scored in just 9 minutes. Kounde once again was on the score sheet following his goal in midweek against Betis, and it was not the prettiest of goals when you look at the finish, but how about that pass by Pedri to set it all up? It was stuff of genius, guys. That was a brilliant, magical pass from the magician Pedri, and Pedri continues to prove his value to Barca this season. Irrespective of some of the points we have dropped carelessly, Pedri has always stood tall in terms of dictating the play and creating chances, and you could see that he has even added more end product to his game, because this season he has been getting a lot of assists, and Barca were looking as if it was going to be yet another win for us with the way we've started 2024, but unfortunately Getafe have found a way back into the game, pegged us back, and they were able to equalize. And once they equalized, I wasn't surprised to see them all sitting behind the ball. Getafe packed the balls like they always do, and unfortunately were unable to break them down, and it was a very, very frustrating night for us. You could see the reaction of Flick on the touchline during the late stages of the game. You could tell that the boss was clearly frustrated with the tactics that his opposition have employed tonight, but we cannot use those as excuses, because we have failed to do our homework. The assignment that was given to us, we have failed to deliver. We did not capitalize on Atletico Madrid dropping points, and we would remain in third place in La Liga. And the worst part of it is, if Athletic Club can beat Celta de Vigo tomorrow, they would also be level on points with Barca at this point. So Barca are even closer to fourth place than they are to first place in La Liga, and it is so frustrating to see the team unable to transform their form from the Champions League and the other cup competitions to the league. After a brilliant start to the league season, it seems like our title hopes are fading right before our very eyes, and this is so frustrating. If Barca are going to have a chance of competing for this league this season, once again I want to add, I'm not throwing in the towel just yet, but it will take a miracle, because the level at which we have dropped points in recent weeks and months, it has been seriously alarming, guys, and it will take a miracle for us to actually challenge for this La Liga this season. Well, overall, the performance was not bad. We have not won in Getafe for 5 years, so you would always expect a difficult game, but like I said, missing of chances has been our biggest undoing tonight. Rafinha had a couple of chances that on a normal day you would expect him to bury. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to take those chances. There was also a chance for Kounde and Araujo sometime after the Getafe equalizer. It was a cross from Balde, who has improved a lot. I'll speak about Balde in a bit, but it was a brilliant cross from Balde, headed back across goal from Lewandowski, and Kounde and Araujo were in a good position to finish it off, But unfortunately, both defenders could not find a way to finish it off. And profligacy, guys, profligacy has been our undoing once again. Now, speaking of Balde, well, I just have to give Balde his flowers. He has been criticized a lot that he lacks end product, he doesn't know how to attack and all that. Nonsense, guys. That is absolute nonsense. I know Balde's crossing can improve a lot, but as we have seen in recent games, it has actually been improving a whole lot. And tonight, he had his A game on when it came to attacking, especially in that first half. Balde was our most dangerous attacking weapon in that first half, and Getafe could just not deal with him in that first half. Even the goal that Barça scored, he played a very key role in the build-up to that goal. His dribble on the left and run to set up the ball for Lewandowski, who laid it off for Pedri, and Pedri gave that masterful pass. That goal wouldn't have been possible without Balde being able to break away from that pressure at that critical moment. Well, while his crossing can obviously continue to get better, Balde's ability to dribble out of tight spaces and ease Barça off the pressure when teams attack, well, I think it is not spoken about enough, and that is why I just wanted to mention that so that we can also appreciate the fact that this guy is steady increasing. But how about the player on the other side of the pitch, Jules Kounde? Once again, he scored another goal for Barça. What a season he has been having since he started playing as a right back after joining Barcelona. A lot has been said about how he is the more defensively minded of the two fullbacks because, of course, he's a natural center half. But this season, Kounde has come into his own for sure. Kounde looks more at home as a right back these days. After that game against Betis where he scored, he could have had two, but one was taken away via a contentious VAR call. But I don't want to get into all that right now. But tonight, he followed it up with yet another goal. It was a perfectly timed run. He ran onto the pass from Pedri. And even though he finished it like a defender, you would see, because there was a scramble with David Soria before it fell to him again to score. But the run, you would see that he is more confident playing in this position as a right back, and is becoming more second nature to him game by game. And I think, like, with the stats that he has this season, he has 7 assists so far this season and 3 goals now. That is 10 goal contributions from the fullback position. That doesn't sound like someone who doesn't want to play as a right back to me, bro. I think Kounde has improved a lot, and I just wanted to point that out. But overall, it has been a frustrating night, guys, simply because we have dropped points yet again in La Liga after we have started 2025 on a roll. We started 2025 on a roll. Unfortunately, we have dropped points. We have stuttered at this point after a brilliant start to the year. Right now, I will still repeat that it's going to take a miracle for us to compete for this title, because despite the fact that we didn't take our chances tonight, it seems like in every other game, the Spanish league referees are always against Barça. Because what was that non-penalty call on Kounde from the corner kick during the late stages of the game? Barça had the chance to score, but there was no penalty given because the referees simply would not award penalties to Barça. There was no VAR review, nothing of such, and that is how it ended. It was clearly a grab from the Getafe defender, but nobody is saying anything about it simply because it is Barcelona. Well, I think we are getting used to these decisions by now, but it is what it is. We have to do better, finish off our chances if we want to stand the chance of winning games and also ultimately competing for the league, even though I feel at this point it's going to be an uphill task to compete for this La Liga. But also, special mention to Frankie de Jong. He came on to replace Casado early in the second half, and it was one of his better performances of the season following the game he had against Betis. It seems like he's coming into his own gradually in the Flick system, and he looked very much at home as the deepest line midfielder for us. He had a brilliant effort late in the game to win the game for us as well, but unfortunately, David Soria was up to the task and he saved it. But once again, I would have to close by saying it has been a very frustrating night for all coolers around the world. And now let's see what the rest of the season holds for us in La Liga, because at this point, with the rate which we are dropping points, I struggle to believe that we are serious about competing for this title. this season. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, guys. What do you think about the performance tonight against Getafe? What do you make of our recent poor record in the Coliseum Alfonso Perez and our generally poor La Liga record since the last 8 games? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below, guys, and hopefully I'll see you on the next video. But until next time, in victory and in defeat, as always, Visca El Barça, and I'll see you on the next video. Adios.